Today we are going to preview number 12 Texas hosting Oklahoma State, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, my buddy Ron and I are going to preview Oklahoma State traveling to number 12 Texas. I got thoughts and opinions on this, have some analysis on it. But also, just off top, let's say this. Oklahoma State has won 5 straight in Austin, Texas. I didn't expect that, I had to double check that stat, and I don't think they've ever won 6 straight, in the history of Oklahoma State football. And I got lots of opinions. Well, I'm going to start out with this. Look, I was at Oklahoma State versus Tulsa, on Saturday, so I got to see them up close and personal. I watched Chuba Hubbard rush for 256 yards on 32 carries. He was a monster, but more than that, the offensive line was monstrous, and this against a Tulsa team that has a pretty outstanding defense. Heading into the game, they ranked number 29 in defense efficiency, right? Not bad. Not great, not bad. I did not expect them to be run over in the way that they were run over, but understated was the cornerback play. And they ran this 3-3-5 where you basically asked your corners to do everything. You wanted them to set an edge. You wanted them to come down and make tackles. You wanted them to play cover 3 and man. And you know what? They were up to the challenge. Tylan Wallace is like Novocaine, though. Just give him time always works. I want to bring Ron in here on this, right? Check it. So, if you were matching up skill for skill, skill position for skill position, who you got?
I think I have to take Oklahoma State on this one. And as much as I think that Texas is a really good ball club and Ehlinger has proven himself to be an excellent quarterback, I think that the weapons that Oklahoma State has right now, they're just going to chew them up. If you watch the Texas LSU game, you see that Texas has holes in their game that Oklahoma State slots right into.
Ooh, okay. Holes in their game. Where?
I would say their secondary and their linebacker. They are susceptible to a big play. I was
about to say, this is a preview, sir. You're going to have that.
I'm just saying. I think that the Oklahoma State's offense is very much able to pick up 15 to 25 yards in big old chunks, and they're probably going to do it pretty often against Texas. On the flip side, I don't think Texas is going to lay down, but if I had to, this game's going to be closer than I think, but I'm going to give it to Oklahoma State.
I know that, that the game probably is going to be closer than we think. That said, Ehlinger can throw the ball. Spencer Sanders could not. I never thought I would be talking about Sam Ehlinger as the better passer in a football game. I mean that in all sincerity, because what I saw last year was not a great passer, and what I've seen this year is a much better passer. Now, outside of LSU, he played La Tech, he played Rice, but you know what? Those aren't FCS teams, and Rice is not great. Also, why does Texas play Rice every year? I know that's an ongoing joke. I know they've won 2 in the last 50 years, but I watched that game. I watched it mostly so I could see what Malcolm Epps looks like. Malcolm Epps, right? Malcolm X. Freudian slip. Malcolm Epps looks like, and he's 6'6", 244 at wideout.
Man,
at wide receiver.
He can get it by any means necessary.
Man, it was... Stop. All right. And then I'm watching the numbers, right? And Ehlinger started off the game 7-7. And passing TDs, first 2 plays of the game. Looked good throwing the ball against LSU. And you know what I learned watching Oklahoma State's defense play against Tulsa's offense? All this great cornerback and cornerback play was non-existent. A.J. Green, I watched him. Keelan Stokes got what he wanted. Sam Crawford got what he wanted. If you had a better quarterback at Tulsa, they probably would have won the game, because I don't know if you remember this, but they went into halftime up 21-20 after being down by 17. So really, for Tulsa, your quarterback is absolutely mediocre at best. And then you're trying to call up these exotic plays where Kobe Harvell-Peel comes on a blitz on 4th down and go, or fourth down, and you get destroyed and you getting mad about it. Well, yeah. Well, number one, this was a comedy of errors because they tried to kick a field goal late, And the field goal kicker didn't know it was his turn to go out there and kick field goals.
Yeah, that's rough. You only had one job.
So they had to call a timeout, and needless to say, Philip Montgomery was not very happy about that. And then I think he let his emotions get the best of him, so he went for it and then drew up this play where nobody picks up the safety, and the safety destroyed him. Look, you're going to run this. I'm getting tired of 30 fronts. I am. It's like you're shaking your head. You're shaking your head. Why are you shaking your head?
Because it's a completely acceptable, respectable front to have.
Not if you're going to get run at. Look. All right. Look. Chuba went for 256, dog.
Yeah. I hate to bring this out. I live here, and it hurts my soul because I went there. But it's Tulsa, dog.
No, I went there, and I got no love for Tulsa, but I am saying I don't like these 30-odd fronts.
Yo, the top half of the top 10 defenses of all time in football, professional college, 3-man fronts. Go with it. It's good.
Okay, 3-man fronts with 4 legitimate linebackers when nobody was running 3 and 4. Nobody knew what the term 11 personnel meant when you could run 3 down linemen and it be efficient, okay? Like, nobody knew. So the idea that you're going to be able to run a defense full of tweeners is, I guess that's what you got to do. And you know what? Joe Gillespie played a straight-up 3-3-5. They played cover 3, cover 1. They sent a couple blitzes, but for the most part, they said Cooper Edmonston and Xavier Collins, if y'all can take on these guards, we'll be okay. Guards blew their ass up. 640. Gonna write that one down. But that's kind of my really big conniption with 30 fronts is if you have 250-pound middle linebackers, like, cool, fine, run it. Because they'll be able to throw the idea. All right, now we're getting into football theory. The idea of a 3-3-5 or a 3-3 front at all. Your defensive line slants one direction, your Mike and your Will go the other direction they fill, right? And you usually can take on the guard or you can get into that hole before somebody else can get there and you can blow up the play. All right? So you got speed at every position and you got these dudes that rather than asking them to hold people up, you say, no, just don't tell people which gap you're going to attack. Line up, head up, and then get off the ball and attack that gap. It's cool if you can do it, but Oklahoma State can't do it. And I understand. You seem to think that they got defensive linemen that can do this.
They passed the eyeball test for me. So they've been running a 3-man front with maybe a rush off the edge. Works for me.
Okay.
I see it working.
Okay, so I also think you would like some of Texas defensive linemen because you got Malcolm Roach out here rocking 32.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
See, like that's your man, Malcolm Roach. That's your man. They also went in this game with Rice without Colin Johnson, who we got. That's the reason we got to see Malcolm X, but he's also really large and enormous. Devin Duvernay, leading receiver, but also just super fast, 10.2 100-meter dash. Jake Smith, he is white boy fabulous. Like, I love this dude. Like, I liked him when he was coming out of high school in Arizona. I like his shade. He's Gatorade Player of the Year out there. He can move. He had his first and second touchdowns against Rice. I'm going to have to check that. But, you still got two tailbacks.
I mean, you only got 2 tailbacks.
You only got one. I mean, you can count Daniel Young, I guess, but you got one. Keontae Ingram, cool, say Daniel Young, but Roschon Johnson is your number 2 tailback, and he's third-string quarterback. Like, you can't just platoon like that.
That sounds a little thin.
Okay.
But I think they're also pretty good. I think that I am enjoying the fact that Texas is getting stars again. So if you have to suffer through a thin backfield to put up some highlights, I'll take it.
Okay. Couple other things I wanted to mention. We're going to get to see what Jalen Green and Kobe Boyce are made of, 2 corners for Texas, because I feel like Tylan Wallace gets to challenge everybody, and everybody's going to get Tylan Wallace's best game because I do believe he's the best wide receiver in all of college football. And I watched Reggie Robinson give Tylan Wallace everything he wanted. He got a pick against Spencer Sanders, who did not look good at all. And they said, like, Joe Gillespie was like, we're not going to follow him around. We're just going to have our corners play man coverage, play cover 3. Allie Green was putting his hands on people. I mentioned Reggie Robinson. Brandon Johnson looked good. These are Tulsa defensive backs. So Jalen Green, Kobe Boyce, it's on you now. Can you shut down Tylan Wallace? Because he was shut down, and then he went 90 yards to the house on one play. And by the way, he picked up like 3 pass interference calls because when he got by them, the corners just said, nah, to hell with this. I'm pulling him down rather than,
Smart.
No, and that's, yeah, right? Now, we'll take the penalty. We'll take the penalty and let you get 7. Spencer Sanders is not accurate. He does not. Okay. He's not accurate. And I've hit the pause button because I want to remind you that this preview is sponsored by MyBookie. I would only recommend a service to my listeners that's proven. That's why MyBookie is always the right play. You bet, you win, they pay. MyBookie lets you bet on which college coaches will get fired, who will make the college football playoff, and the Heisman Trophy. You can even bet on halftime lines, live odds, or FBS versus FCS games. Up to $1,000 on your first deposit bonus. Double your first deposit. Use the promo code RJ. That's my name, RJ, no periods, to activate the offer. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie. And don't forget the promo code RJ. It's my name. It's real easy. It's 2 letters. RJ. No periods. When creating your account to claim the bonus bet, win, get paid. And I'll remind you, if you've been following along with the picks, I've made you money straight up. Like I called Kansas State, Mississippi State straight up. I got you. So take my picks, use MyBookie, and go make some money. It's college football. It's fun. We should all get paid. All right, let's get back to the preview.
The Tulsa game is Spencer Sanders' worst game. Than his other 2 games. He must have been putting on the world's greatest show.
Excuse me, Mr. They ain't played nobody. Who did Oklahoma State play prior to Tulsa?
I have only used that one time this year, and it wasn't towards Oklahoma State.
Well, Oklahoma State played who?
That's a good question.
One of those was McNeese State.
Mm-hmm.
McNeese is not a state.
Oh man, I wish I could applaud you on that from back in 1988.
All right.
Goodness.
Okay, look. When it comes to Louisiana college football, it's like LSU, right?
Right.
Okay, and then it's everybody else. And you talk about Tulane, you talk about Southern, talk about Grambling. Nobody gets to
Don't you
McNeese
forget
State.
my law tech.
Terry Bradshaw's law tech. Mr. Ehlinger, didn't nobody want him?
Put some respect on his name.
Okay, all right. You gonna ride for the Raging Cajuns too?
This time.
You gonna do that? What about L.A. Monroe? You gonna ride for them too? Is that what we out here doing?
First off, let me tell you about Louisiana University, okay?
Okay, Dillard. Dillard. Savior.
We digress. All I'm saying is that if you look at Shane Spencer's stats, and I know that he doesn't throw the greatest. Well, I'm sorry.
Spencer Sanders,
excuse me. He's completing 68% of his passes. He is getting the ball to where it needs to be. He is making sure that Tylan Wallace is on his way to a Biletnikoff. He's doing it.
He did not face a capable secondary until Tulsa. And they made it very clear that they were going to man up and say, beat us. We're not going to let you run. And yet, anytime you got a cornerback with his back to you, you kind of want to take off running in that direction. And it took them, to the second half to figure out that maybe they should put that in the playbook. Sean Gleason, what was he looking at? Because I'm looking at this going, wait a second. That side of the field is wide open because dudes are just running safeties and corners off, and you won't let the dude that I'm pretty sure got 4.5 speed take off running?
Okay, here, let me take off my DeJuan Woods jersey real quick and give you my honest opinion. I really do think Oklahoma State is going to win this game, and they're going to put in a good showing.
Put a score on it. I haven't even seen the line.
I'm going to go 37-45.
37. So 45-37 Oklahoma State.
You're right.
Ooh, I'm not doing that. I'm going to pick Texas to win this game. At home. Breaking a 5-game losing streak to Oklahoma State at home, please. But also, I want to take a look at, stats. We like stats around here. We like research around here. And there's a couple stats that I think are really important, like third down defense, right? I didn't have time to chart the third and longs for each one of these games because I was charting Oklahoma's games. But check it. Oklahoma State ain't very good on third down, man. Through 3 games, Oklahoma State has seen 57 third downs. That's a lot. They've stopped 27. So they rank 117th in third down defense. They ain't but 130 teams. All right? So from that, I would hypothesize that they see a bunch of third and shorts. And they probably see a bunch of third and shorts because they can't stop nobody on first and second down. Probably need to get in third and long situations to get more third down stops. Whereas, you look at, say, K-State, 5 of 31. Whole team 16.1%. K-State just plays sound defense, force you into pass situations on third down, which is predictable, and we can stop you. Other teams in there, TCU is ridiculously awesome. 8 of 32. Oklahoma State ain't very good. But you know what? Texas ain't very good either. 16 of 39, 41%. You want to get below 40% to call yourself a good third down defensive football team, right? Knowing what I know about Texas's talent, not the scheme, just the talent, they ought to be able to stop Oklahoma State and what they want to do. Oh, however, caveat, I'm really excited to see Herb Hand's offensive line versus Charlie Dickey's offensive line, because most people also know that Herb Hand was at TU, and Herb Hand is a character, and Herb Hand seems to have what he needs down there at Texas to make it more than just a game, but to pick apart this 30-yard front that I really don't like. Whereas Charlie Dickey came from Kansas State, coached for Bill Snyder, wouldn't leave Bill Snyder until Bill Snyder retired, and took an Oklahoma State offensive line that was trash, and has all of a sudden made it into the kind of offensive line that could send Chuba Hubbard to the Heisman ceremony in December. So if you can control the clock, and you're willing to run the Zach Robinson offense at Oklahoma State rather than try to run air raid, you might win. I just don't think that Gundy and Gleason are I don't think they're going to play their personnel. I think they're going to try to play their system like a bunch of other coaches. How is it that Bill Belichick is the only person in the entire world that is committed to execution and not a system?
Because he has a personal philosophy that isn't do 110%. He's not telling people to run through walls. He's telling his personnel and his staff, guys, do just enough. And they do that.
One of the coolest things that I heard that I think relates to all of this, right, is how Teddy Bruschi described stopping Le'Veon Bell when he was Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers, right? And it's like, what did you guys do? We changed what we normally do. Okay, so what did that look like? He said, hey, guys, do not run upfield. Whatever you do, you don't run upfield. If you run upfield, you get a stop, that's still bad. Don't run upfield. Because what you want is for Le'Veon to just see a bunch of bodies in front of him the whole time. Don't give him less bodies to get around. Give him all the bodies to get around. Because whereas we're 11, they quickly can turn us into 16 to 18 depending on what personnel they want to put in the box. So let's just put a mass of humanity in front of him, and then let's go make stops, which was counterintuitive to what they've been doing all year and counterintuitive to what they taught their defensive line to do and their linebackers to do. And yet, that's how they did it. In that game, they held Le'Veon Bell to like 6 carries for like 26 yards or something because they figured out it just wasn't going to happen. And they were content to just step back in coverage, to stay in their zones and make tackles. I think that if Todd Orlando has that in the toolbox, you do that with Chuba Hubbard, because outside of Tylan Wallace, he's the only threat. And if Tylan Wallace is the only threat that you have to worry about, and he's got to catch passes from a dude that we're split on the vote can actually get him the football, it's easy money for Texas. Because Todd Orlando does know how to scheme. He does know how to run this 30-out front defense with these odd lineups and 5 DBs that, by the way, the safeties are good. Like, if he has Caden Stearns, B.J. Foster, Brandon Jones available to him, they're good. I wish I could say this game was going to be much more of an easier or of a harder pick, but for me, it's just not. Like, Ehlinger's going to be able to pick them apart with time. He's shown that with LSU. He showed that with Rice. Showed that with La Tech. He's become a better passer. He'll take off and run if you need him to. I think if you knock Keontae Ingram out of the game, then it gets to be interesting. But outside of that, man, like, I just don't see it. Like, I want to. I do. I want to. But then again, we're talking about 2 teams that, a fan of me would like to see both lose. So, like, whatever. It's like, can they both catch L's? Probably not.
I don't know. Might get this to a tie. Get this to a rain delay. Let's hope for lightning.
Let's not, because that happened. Iowa State, Iowa.
Let's hope that a water main breaks in the city. Fine.
City of Austin.
It's a fire hazard.
City of Austin.
We got to shut it down.
Water.
Okay.
Last bit that I wanted to bring up was Amendola versus Dicker the kicker. I know that there's some people out here that really love the specialist conversation. Mm-hmm. Okay, I say ban kickers and abolish kicking, but that's just me.
Not a bad idea.
Dicker the kicker and Amendola are two of the best kickers in the country. They're the best at what they do. They're really, really good at this. I think if it comes down to one or both of them, I'm going to be interested to see which one has the cojones. Dicker the kicker showed that he had them last year in the Red River rivalry. Amendola's just money, so that'll be interesting to see. I also want to know if Tom Herman is going to try to attack Mike Gundy on the field again. Did you forget about that?
Yeah. Yeah, let's get a round 2 out of that.
So, for those of you that don't remember, Mike Gundy beat Tom Herman in Stillwater last year, and still not sure as the reason why, but Tom Herman decided he wanted to attack Mike Gundy at midfield, for which I'm going, there are not two coaches in college football today that I am more ready to see just get locked into the octagon with Mike Goldberg on the call, Joe Rogan doing the color, and Big John McCarthy in the middle going, are you ready? Are you ready? I can really, I want that. Is that too much? Is that too much?
No, so that's what we got to organize. Let's get a Gundy, Herman, UFC, XXX. Let's make it happen.
So, what? Let's do a power ranking. Big 12 coaches. No? You don't want to talk about Big 12 coaches and fights?
No, I'm good on that.
Dang it. Okay.
But I'd love to hear yours, though.
Man, the mullet makes it real easy to grab your hair, dog. Just saying.
Okay.
Makes it real. I mean, they say that about dreads and whatnot, and we see dudes end up with the dread on the ground and scalp missing. Just makes it easy. And Tom just got that jaw that just kind of comes down to here. It's an easy. I mean,
I have to imagine that whatever fight that you've organized, Les Miles is bringing a gun.
I think Les would successfully talk himself out of the fight and probably end up watching.
I said he's bringing a gun, right? He's also bringing a knife as well.
I'm also really interested to see, who I got in all of this? I got walking out. It ain't Matt Wells. I know there's some people that think that Matt Wells is hard, and I'm sure that he's hard enough. Matt Rule is from Philly. Very proud of being from Philly, but, there's lots of dudes for this from Texas here. Notably, Lincoln Riley's from Muleshoe, and it's West Texas, and they make it kind of different out there. But I really think Matt Campbell's coming out with the W in the Battle Royale. Matt Campbell, probably the best football player.
My God, is that Matt Campbell's music?
I'm dead serious. The best football player in the conference, because all these dudes put a lot of emphasis on, I played the game. Yeah, okay, whatever. Matt Campbell played at Massillon. And dude was at Pitt and decided he didn't want to do Pitt no more. Saw a bunch of dudes that were jogging down the highway and decided that's where he wanted to play football. Let me put this another way. This man saw them doing the Rocky on the highway and wanted to play football there. Found out it was Mount Union, which is D3. They ain't got no scholarships. Didn't care. Wanted to play football there. Head coach there, Larry Karras, this is a recruiting pitch. Mm-hmm. Child, imagine taking your knuckles and dragging them along concrete. That's what it's going to be like playing football here. You still want to come? That's where Matt Campbell wanted to play football. That's where Matt Campbell became an All-American. I don't want to see Matt Campbell in no fight. He's all of 6'4", 260.
Still sounds like he's going to be the first dude face down the gutter, so.
For that matter, Alex Grinch was on that defense, and he walked onto a D3 football team to play safety. Think about that.
Oh, man.
That's these dudes. These dudes eat game film. They eat football. They are not happy. That's another one that we would have to break down. It's like the coordinator power rankings. Because somewhere in there, we're actually going to have to figure out what's going to go on with Scotty Hazelton. And if you don't know what Scotty looks like, just go ahead and look him up. I know that K-Staters are like, yo, man, you're not going to put Chris Kleiman in here? It's like, man, Chris Kleiman, Chris Kleiman boxes like Mike Tyson, like he's got a system, and he's only gonna throw what's in that system. If you can beat that system, you'll beat him. But ain't a whole lot of people beat that system. I'm off the rails now.
I was about to say, hey, we'll upload this to the premium Snapchat. Check it out.
All right, that's it for us. That was just